Get your films on with the Blerds.
Once an idea has taken hold of the brain, it's almost impossible to eradicate.
Unpacking movies has never been more spot on, woke, fire, and just plain lit.
They are lit all the time.
So if you're unsure whether or not to plop down some cash for a film, check out the Blerds.
When a man with a 45 meets a man with a rifle, the man with a pistol is a dead man.
Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolyte.
You really only need to hang mean bastards. But mean bastards, you need to hang.
Don't say you weren't warned. Here's Brandon and Jeff.
All right, and welcome to episode 33 of the Film Blerds. We're back at it like crack habit. After a couple of weeks off of just resting, relaxing, and recharging, I am Jeff Stewart, a.k.a. Uncle Jeffrey, a.k.a. Revengeman Button, a.k.a. He Who Remains. And I'm joined here, as always, with my co-host.
I'm Brandon Norwood, a.k.a. Hero Protagonist, a.k.a. the true father of Joe's kids, a.k.a. the Glizzy King, a.k.a. the Lethal Protector, a.k.a. Poppy Chulo, a.k.a. B-Wood the Magnificent.
All right, I got to get some more AKAs in there because I got to catch up. So, yeah, let's get into it. It's the winter, so there's not much going on, but then there's a lot going on. MLK Day, day of service, so get out there and do some shit.
Omnicron kind of fucked shit up, so like all the movies that we had planned on reviewing are basically gone.
Yep, it affected. I was just on a production, and we almost had to shut down because of that shit. So, yeah, it's real out there. Just take the vaccine, wear your masks, and if you don't, then stop breathing in people's mouths.
Yeah, I guess the only news I got was they released a picture of Batgirl, and I kind of take back all the shit talking I was doing.
I didn't see the picture of Batgirl. When did that land?
Friday night.
Yeah, I've been. Let me look at this up.
There's no way, after seeing that picture, there's no way this fucking movie goes to HBO Max. I guarantee you, just like Blue Beetle, they're going to walk it back and say, oh, this is going to theaters. Especially since Michael Keaton's in fucking Batman. Yeah, or Batgirl. Yeah, this shit's not going to HBO Max.
Yo, that shit looks hard. Yo, that's old. That's Batgirl.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
That's fucking, I'm looking up right now. That is classic Batgirl. All right.
There's no way that's going to HBO Max. I guarantee you that's going to theaters.
Well, that whole entire HBO Max thing, that was a failed experiment. I enjoyed not having to leave my house to see movies I wanted to see, but I mean, as a money-making kind of entity, it was, yeah. They tried something and it didn't work. I don't think they're going to do that again. They're not going to do that time. And
for a lot of people pointed out, and what my brother pointed out was that all these DC heroes that are minorities have been getting the HBO Max treatment. And it's only lately that Blue Beetle was changed. What they saw from the dailies of Blue Beetle, they're like, okay, we're taking this from HBO Max. We're going to put it in theaters. Now that they got Rose Leslie, who's a Latina, as Batgirl, and they have her dressed up as Batgirl, seeing those pictures and the sets and shit like that, I'm just like, there's no way this is going to fucking HBO Max. An iconic character such as Barbara Gordon, a.k.a. Batgirl, I guarantee you this shit's going to theaters.
Yeah, do we know how much money they spent on this shit?
A lot, because this is the new DCEU, because I sent you this a little before or after Christmas, where the new Justice League is going to be Aquaman, Batgirl, Supergirl, and The Flash. And you're going to introduce Supergirl in the Flash movie, and Supergirl's movie is going to go to HBO Max. I also guarantee you that's going to change.
Right. Does Henry Cavill have any kind of like stakes in this? Like, is he even a guest spot, like a cameo in this new DCEU?
I'll be honest, I don't know. I know Ben Affleck gets to put the closing marks on his Batman in the Flash movie, and he said this is the first and only time he enjoyed playing Batman, and he wished his whole tenure as Batman was like what he did with the Flash.
All right. Well, I mean,
while we're here, have you seen Peacemaker?
Yeah. I saw the first episode. I was halfway through the second episode. If we would talk about that right now, we can. Give James Gunn everything.
Here's my problem.
Give him everything.
Here's my problem. I love Peacemaker. I wish the whole show was up. I wish we could just binge episodes 1 through 8 right now. The problem, it has the same problem as Shazam, which they're not problems. It actually makes each one of these better. It does better character work and world building for the overall universe better than the main movies do. And by that, I mean, there's a scene in episode 2 where Steve Agee's patching up Peacemaker, and he starts listing off all these like low rent fucking superheroes. Like he even says Batmite. Like Batmite is canon now. And I was like, the fact that I want to see a fucking Batmite pop up in a Batman movie just so like that could be paid off. Like this shit, it's like Shazam, man. Like Shazam references other superheroes and shit. And it's just more fun. And I wish Marvel would do this where other superheroes would mention like, holy shit, that's Captain Marvel. Whoa.
Right.
And be excited like these characters are. That's all you got to do. You don't have to have it so intricately woven together. You could do standalone like one-offs.
Right. And here's another thing. You can tell James Gunn loves the material. He loves the source material.
Yes.
And that's what you need to make these things work. You need someone someone spearheading this who gets it. Like look what he did for Guardians of the Galaxy. Look what he did with the Suicide Squad. And now look at Peacemaker. Like Peacemaker was cool and everything like that in the Suicide Squad, right? But like in this show, like you make an asshole, like you have pathos for him, you feel for him, like you're sad for him.
Marvel, start doing some different stuff. Like I think DC has established that it's okay to do R-rated stuff as long as the tone's not dour. I think that's where we're starting to understand. You could do R-rated stuff, but not have it be fucking so hard, heavy-handed, and depressing. Like Marvel needs to take a page from DC, start doing some R-rated shit, and you don't have to have it intricately woven into the more family-friendly stuff. Just have it be like, oh yeah, he's over there, we're over here.
Right. So I mean, we can get a deep dive into like that first episode of Peacemaker, but like, I always have faith in James Gunn. From now on, anything he does, I'm on board.
Well, once he's done with Guardians, he's going back to DC. He said all of his real estate right now is in DC. He says eventually he'll do other projects for Marvels that's not Guardians, because this is the last Guardians thing he's doing. But
right.
As far as Marvel's concerned, he said he'll go back eventually, but right now DC's the sandbox he wants to play in just because there's more room to do what he wants.
Right. And let's give it up for weird motherfuckers doing weird fucking shit.
Yeah. DC, man, you guys need people like James Gunn who have vision, who care, who love the characters, who love the world. Just because Peacemaker shouldn't be one of the best things you're putting out.
Right. It shouldn't be better than your Superman movie.
Yeah. And
you know what I'm saying?
And you shouldn't have your fucking Superman begging you to do a Superman movie. Like you guys should be like 3 movies deep in Superman right now, and y'all can't even get that shit right, and don't want to get that shit right because now you're banking on Supergirl. And if you're banking on Supergirl, now that the show's over, you really should have pulled Melissa Benoist and had her do the movies.
Right. And here's the thing. DC doesn't have faith in its creatives. If it's not like $1 billion box office movie first go round, they want to change streams real quick. And that's the problem with this. Like you're dealing with source material that's, decades old. Comic books take time to unravel their stories. It should be the same sort of blueprint for your movies.
Not to cut you off, Marvel knows that not everything's going to be a hitter. They know Ant-Man is not going to be on the size of Iron Man, and Ant-Man's still getting to close out his trilogy. Eternals, not really a big hit. It made money, but not by Marvel standards, and they're still getting their sequels because they understand some things take time to grow. And that's what WB doesn't understand is like, it takes time for this shit to grow. Not everything's going to gross $1 billion out the gate.
Right. That's it. So get hyped for, Batgirl. They might get this right.
And I guarantee you Static Shock is not going to stay on HBO Max either, just because he's such a popular character. He's one of the few popular black superheroes. And Michael B. Jordan's producing this. This is a character that everybody and their mom's been asking for ever since before they started doing a Justice League movie. Like, if they keep that on HBO Max, then yeah, we need to just call Warner Brothers out on their racism, because that's just racist. But I guarantee you that's going to go to theaters too. Like, I feel like all this DC shit they announced for HBO Max, like most of this shit's going to go to theaters if it's not a TV show. So,
right. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with you. Like, it's going to be a sea change. There's definitely going to be a sea change.
All right.
So,
well, what have you watched?
What you watching? What you watching? I said, what you watching? What you watching?
What are you watching?
I discovered this movie by accident, and now it is one of my favorite things. One of the most favorite movies when it comes to cinematography that I've seen in a minute. It's called Jerry and Tom. Right? It stars
The Cat and the Mouse.
It stars no, not The Cat and the Mouse. It stars Sam Rockwell, like a young ass Sam Rockwell. It came out in '94. Back in the days where Tarantino was starting to pop up, and the fact that this movie isn't talked about more in like film schools and shit like that, it is a travesty. So it stars Sam Rockwell, Joe Mantegna, and it was directed by Saul Rubinek, the actor.
Okay.
All right, the character actor. You've seen him.
I know who he is.
Yeah. And it's the 10-year span of two hitmen whose cover are used car salesmen.
Okay.
Right. And so it starts off on their last assignment when they're, old ass men, and it goes back in time to show how they got to that point. Like, training Joe Mantegna, training Sam Rockwell, and showing him the ropes and stuff like that. But the great thing about this is the camera is always moving. Right? The camera's always moving, and it's deliberate pacing and movement. And even the camera movements are the transitions from scene to scene. Right? So there's no like wipes or fades and stuff like that. The camera will pan left, and you'll see like a letter sitting on a table, and then it'll transition to like 5 years later, someone picking up that letter and delivering it to someone else. It's masterful. And it's got, some cameos by some, notable names. You got Ted Danson in there, who's one of their hits, which I think that was the best vignette in the whole entire thing. It's Ted Danson in a movie theater talking about his on-screen love of this film and going into like this whole entire missive about life and love and films and stuff like that. It's a really beautiful film. It's straight peak 90s, so the acting is a little wooden. It's a little overlit, but all in all, like it should be a masterclass in camera movement in film. So if you get a chance, go watch Jerry and Tom.
Will do.
All right. What else have I been watching?
Also, shout outs. Can we real quick just give a clap for Ted Danson? Because that motherfucker is range worthy and he works.
Right. And despite that whole entire misstep he did with the blackface.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. That's how good Ted Danson is. Everybody forgets about how he roasted
Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi Goldberg in blackface
because they were dating.
She loved, and she loved it, by the way.
Yeah, because they were dating.
Right. You know, but Ted Danson, that's that motherfucker. So despite everything I told myself, I started watching Boba Fett.
Okay, so I'll talk about this with you because I don't know how you feel, but like, I guess I'm with you now on this Star Wars shit. Like, I watch this Boba Fett shit, and every week I'm just like, okay, sure.
Right, exactly. So the first episode where you find out how he escapes from the sand vagina, aka the Sarlacc pit, I'm like, oh, so that's how he got out? That's cool, I guess.
Yep.
I don't care.
Yep.
I don't care. Right? I never cared about like that. Like, whatever. It's, you know what? It's interesting enough. It's more interesting than the last couple of movies, you know, but I'm burnt out. I don't care. I wish they would do a show about just the sand people.
I'm gonna be real with you. Wait, go ahead.
I wish there was just a show on the fucking the Tusken Raiders. Like, I'd like to watch that show more than any other thing that they've put out. I'm sick of let's going back to the well. Oh, let's bring back Boba Fett. Oh, let's bring back Luke Skywalker.
I'm gonna be real with you. First and foremost, they should have kept this a movie. This should have just been a Disney Plus movie. Like, I guess I can't believe I'm saying this. I wish James Mangold did the Boba Fett movie instead of Indiana Jones 5. Honestly, that's where I'm at with this shit. Because at least the Boba Fett
that's fair.
Because at least the Boba Fett movie, it'd be 2 hours. It'd be one and done. And we don't have to further, no offense to James Mangold, we don't have to further ruin Indiana Jones. Like, just let that shit be.
Right.
It also kills, I feel like the shifting timelines in this show kind of kills the momentum. Like, I get really into the stuff that's happening with him trying to take over Mos Espa.
Right.
And then it kills the momentum as we go back in time to see how he's humbled and how he got to meet Din Djarin, the Mandalorian from his show. Like, that's what it's doing right now. It's hopping between two timelines, showing his rise as crime kingpin and how he escaped the Sarlacc pit and how he became humbled and how he made his way to our hero in the other show. And honestly, I don't care. I just don't give a fuck.
Right. I don't hate it, but like, I'm watching it because I have to watch it, not because I want to watch it. Like The Mandalorian, I couldn't wait for those episodes to drop. You're like, yeah, what's going to happen next, Mando? And like Boba Fett, I'm like, I'm watching it because I'm on a podcast and we talk about this type of shit.
I mean, I would still watch it even if I wasn't on the podcast, but like, still, this shit, it is literally, it feels like filler. And this is like the first of many fucking shit we're getting from Star Wars this year. Because we got the Cassian Andor show. We got the Obi-Wan miniseries. And watching this Boba Fett, now I was looking forward to this Obi-Wan miniseries. And now I'm just like, man, watching this Boba Fett shit, I'm just like, I don't give a fuck about any of this Star Wars shit anymore. Especially now that Dune exists. Like, who gives a shit?
And that's a sad statement because, like, I grew up with Star Wars. You couldn't tell me shit growing up. You know, there was only one movie in the world. It was Star Wars. You know, there was only one entity in the world. It was Star Wars. If it didn't have to do with Star Wars, I didn't want to have to do shit with it. And now that I'm older, I am seeing that, you know, it's just like everything else is product now. No one cares. No one cares.
my love of Star Wars started dying right around the time Last Jedi came out, just because the fans were so disgusting and toxic, where I was just like, we have gotten like the first truly great fucking thing out of this, and y'all motherfuckers hated it. And then the follow
because it's not,
and then the followed
because it's not like the old shit.
yeah. And then the followed it up with Solo and especially Rise of Skywalker. I'm just like, you know what? And then the Mandalorian won me back, and now I'm just like, I don't know. I could take or leave this shit, honestly. And honestly, most of it, I'm just like, I'd rather just leave it. Like, I'd rather just Star Wars died again.
Right. Can you give me 10 years? Give me 10 years. Let's get some like new blood in here to reinvigorate this shit. But yeah, it's fine. Boba Fett's fine.
Yeah. How many episodes? It's 7 episodes, so I guess we got how many left? Like 4? We got 4 episodes left?
Yeah, something like that.
4 episodes left and ain't shit really happened.
Right. You know, it's not exactly boring, but it's not exactly exciting. It is what it exists. That's what it is. It exists. So that's it. That's all I got to say about that fucking piece.
Are you excited for anything else we're getting this year from the Star Wars universe?
No.
Okay,
man.
All right.
I'm like.
So we're on the same page.
Surprise me. Yeah. Like I want them to surprise me. Surprise me. Like surprise me and put out something that's interesting and good and just unique. Don't put out product.
I hope they get Denis Villeneuve, because Denis Villeneuve said he wants to do a Star Wars movie, but he wants to do it with new characters, new setting, and just all new shit, and make it like something that'll really shock the system. And like we fucking need him.
They will never do that. This is a cash cow. They are not going to let anyone who's got any kind of unique perspective have their hands on this again. Yeah, so that's Star Wars. The kids will like it. It's a thing, I guess. May the Force be fuck. I don't give a fuck. So what else have I been watching? I started watching on Netflix Saturday Morning All-Star Hits, which is a parody show of those Saturday morning cartoon shows with like the kooky hosts and shit like that we used to watch as kids. It is funny for the first episode, and then after that this could have been a skit on SNL or like Funny or Die or something like that, and it would have been amazing and hilarious. But they tried to make 6 episodes out of it, and it's a one note joke.
So it's like America the movie.
Right. It's America the movie, but they turn it into a series. Like the nostalgia factor will hit you. Your mileage may vary, but you'll get maybe 2 or 3 episodes before you're like, I never have to see this shit again. What else? I based on your recommendation, I went to and I watched Resident Evil.
How'd you like it?
The new one. I liked it, honestly. It's much better than anything that Paul W.S. Anderson has done. Yeah, it's got like I love the beginning of it. It's got shades of Carpenter. It's got shades of fucking Craven. It's like got that real 80s horror movie vibe. And they get that this is supposed to be scary.
Yes.
And that was the problem with all of the other Resident Evils. They were never scary. All right. This had me clenching my butt cheeks a couple of times, and it's not well acted.
No.
And it's not well written.
Good. I wouldn't even say it's a good movie, but it's watchable.
Right. Right, it's watchable. I did not hate it, and as a fan of the video game series, the OG video game series, I could see like all the connections were there. It's pretty much if you played the first 2-3 video games, you've watched this movie, right? And I'm okay with that. I am fine with that. because they get it.
So if they did a
they get what they're
like
doing.
if they did a sequel, would you watch it?
Yeah, I would watch a sequel without a doubt.
And at least this has an
because,
ending. You know what I'm saying? Like my problem with the other series is they would always end on a fucking cliffhanger.
Right. It's like, oh, what else is Umbrella Company up to next? What's blah blah blah. Let me walk. Oh no, we should see Alice walk into this lab, and there's 3 more Alices, and they all have shotguns. What's gonna happen in the next movie? I don't fucking care.
And I would say the cool thing about this is they saved the cliffhanger for the mid-credit sequence. And for me, I don't know what the fuck that mid-credit scene was. So for me, I was just like, okay, cool. That's something for the fans to get them excited for if there will be a sequel.
Is that when Wesker puts on the glasses?
I can't remember what it was. One of the lady found Robbie Amel's character.
Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah. That's if you've played the video game, all right. This is kind of cool. It's if you've played the video games, if you're a fan of the video games, you're gonna love this. It's honestly, it gets tension. It really does. It gets. People are still making the same dumb fucking mistakes, but at least someone tried here to make a horror movie based on a video game, and big up.
And
to
not
them.
for nothing, the action's better in this than any of the other Resident Evil movies.
Oh, 100%. Oh, without a doubt, it's so much fucking better. It's not. It's one of those. I have conflicted feelings on this because it's not a good movie. But I would watch this over and over again. Some of my favorite movies are pieces of shit, and this might be one of in that. This might be my new Hackers.
This is the Venom 2 of the Resident Evil series.
Okay, I'll give you that. It's just they just went all in, and they made something, and God bless them for that.
I will say this: if Morbius is like this movie, then you know what? I might give Morbius a pass. But Morbius, every time I see the trailer, I'm just like, this looks worse than the last time I saw it.
When does that drops this month?
It was supposed to, but because of Omicron, and this is rumors. Don't take this as fact. This is rumors that they are shooting a little more to connect it to the overall universe. It is now coming out April 1st. On April's Fool's Day.
Universe?
And I feel like that's a bad joke. That is a awful April Fool's joke. I guess you're going to pull an April Fool's joke on yourself. Go see Mobius and say April Fools.
But what universe are they connecting it to? Are they connecting it? They can't connect it to the Tom Hardy one because they've already excised that.
It's the Spider-Man Sony Spider-Man universe. So I'm guessing they're filming a little more with Michael Keaton. I guess they're gonna add in Tom Hardy. I guess they're gonna add in Kraven because Aaron Taylor Johnson's Kraven. Because remember, Kraven's getting his own fucking movie. And I guess at any point they could pull in Andrew or Toby if they wanted to.
Right. And let's talk about that for a little bit. I hope they get their own movies in this new multiple Spider-Verse thing. I want to see an old man fucking Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Yeah, Kristen Dunst even says she wants to come back and have spider babies. She's like, I should be raising Peter's kids, and they have powers too. And I'm just like, awesome. Andrew Garfield even said, he's like, if the script is good and Mark Webb comes back, I'll do another one. These motherfuckers, if I was Sony, I would be cashing out right now. I'd be like, yo, listen, let's get Sam Raimi back. Let's get fucking Mark Webb back. And we have two fucking Spider-Men that we can use personally, that we don't have to loan to Marvel, that we could build out a whole ass universe on.
And it does not fuck up the story. It does not fuck Tom Holland.
I feel like these Spider-Man movies going give us a Spider-Man 4, an Amazing Spider-Man 3, and then after that, let's keep it going with Andrew Garfield since he's younger and he really loves playing the character. You keep it going with him, and then you have Toby come in and guest star every once in a while.
I mean, honestly, Sony pulled off the impossible with this last Spider-Man. They did a fucking cinematic fucking fucking Houdini trick. And they escaped the hole that they created for themselves with this whole entire Spider-Man IP.
Yeah, like it makes Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2 decent. It actually makes it a decent movie.
Right. It makes every fucking movie that has a Spider-Man in it better. Good for you. I always talk shit on Sony, but like for this one, Sony, are you crazy for this one? I love you.
If
I love
you guys
you
are
for
listening, get the other two Spider-Men and start building out your own universe. Keep Tom Holland for Sony, and y'all do as many as you can with Tom Holland, and then once Tom Holland's done, you bring in Miles and have Miles for that universe. But for your own universe, you guys got two perfectly good Spider-Men with two actors who clearly still want to do it and who are still clearly in great shape enough to do it. Do it.
Yep, do it. So that's it. Going on Netflix, I watched Zone 414.
Fuck is that?
All right, it's a Guy Pearce movie. It is the second movie in a year that Guy Pearce has broken my heart. As in, he's in a movie that normally I would love, but ends up being a piece of shit. The first one was The Seventh Day, which was pretty much Training Day with priests that fell apart. And this one was pretty much a spiritual successor to Blade Runner about bang robots. So it's pretty much Blade Runner set on Epstein's Island. All right. And this one is another... No, not kids. But I'm just saying like a pleasure island.
Still.
With the look... Right, but it's a fuck island, but it's not even an island. All right, so everyone wants to make Blade Runner, but no one wants to make Blade Runner, right? The work that goes to put in it. So the idea, the conceit behind this movie is, in the future there are androids. One company controls them, and the government allows all of these robots to exist in Zone 414. Okay, and if you're rich enough, you can go to Zone 414 and interact with the robots and fuck them and do whatever you want with them, right? So the inventor of this technology, his real daughter goes missing in Zone 414, and sends Guy Pearce's grizzled old ex-cop detective to go in there and find her. And then he ends up hooking up with the most advanced robot in the system, the one who has actual sentience and a soul and shit like that. It could have been interesting. It had everything to make this a sci-fi sort of classic, but they fucked it up. It was boring. The mystery was like, if you couldn't see how the mystery was going to play out in the first hour, then you weren't watching the movie. Guy Pearce's character, when you're first introduced to Guy Pearce's character, right? The company, I think it's even called the Tyrell Company. They weren't even smart enough to fucking try to change that. They bring him in to execute one of these robots as a test. And she's begging for her life and everything like that. And the test is to see how much of a badass, how disconnected he is with his humanity to do what's needed to be done in Zone 414, right? And it's like, that's a great setup for this fucking movie. It's like, all right, you set this guy up as like a no nonsense, just like heartless dude, like mission oriented, and none of that has any payoff in the rest of the movie. Like you said, it like you have this great character moment, but none of it hits in the movie, right? There's no emotional payoff. There's no story payoff for it. It was just a cool way to start off the movie, and I hate cool ways to start off a movie without a payoff. So it's utterly forgettable. It's well acted. I will give you that. The production design is on point, even though we weren't talking a $60 million budget, maybe 15, but they pushed that 15 to the limits. But it was just boring. People just try to make fucking Blade Runner like it's the Turkish knockoff, Chinese knockoff version. It's the Wish.com version of Blade Runner. And you're breaking my heart, Guy Pearce, because you're better than this. That's had to get a lot of feelings on that one. A lot of fucking feelings. I went in on that. I'm sorry, Guy Pearce. I take that back.
Don't apologize. Like, fucking shit sucks. That's what we're here for, right?
Yeah, man. But god damn it. Can I get some good sci-fi? Can I get some good fucking interesting sci-fi? And I watched a whole bunch of other shit, but I want to give a special mention to I rewatched Interview with the Vampire.
Oh, I fucking love that movie, man. Even though it's not faithful to the book at all. I fucking love that movie.
Right. It's little Tom Cruise. Do you want to jump in on this? I played a vampire, and I have fangs, and I was floaty. I floated everywhere, and I bit people.
Yeah, well, I'm Brad Pitt, nigga. I don't give a fuck. I do what I want.
But Brad Pitt, I made you.
And you know what? I'll abandon you. I abandoned you 5 times in this movie.
Brad Pitt, why do you gaslight me?
Because I'm Brad Pitt, baby. I'm Brad Pitt.
We can live forever and have friends and adventures.
That's what I want to hang out with you for, nigga. I'm Brad Pitt. I look good forever. I look this good forever. I'm gonna go out and get all types of ass. I'll get vampire ass, human ass, get some werewolf ass. It's all hairy. I like that shit.
But danger zone.
Nigga, I don't give a fuck. Look, Frankenstein's over there making Bride of Frankenstein. I'm gonna go after this quilt ass, this patchwork ass. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here.
Fly away. Fly away. All right. I'm sorry. I've got a little bit of cold, so my little Tom Cruise isn't as good as it usually is. But yeah, let's talk about. I had always realized the homoerotic overtones in Interview with the Vampire, but watching it as an adult, it's like, oh, this is real gay, and I loved it. It's real fucking gay.
Well, I mean, in the books, the vampires are. Oh yeah, and real quick, R.I.P. the Anne Rice because she died recently. Yeah.
Oh, did she? I didn't even hear that.
Is dead. Yeah. Problem. Here's the problem. This is like I think it's the second book in the series. I may be wrong. I might have to Google this. But yeah, the books, there's like 12 books, and like Lestat's a rock star in the books.
Right, because like Queen of the Damned, they tried to, play on that. I refuse to watch that movie
that's
again.
one you see once and then you never see again, just because it was that bad.
R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. Aaliyah, R.I.P. Anne Rice. Like, I don't know if you know this, the Vampire Chronicles is getting a series. Yeah, they're doing, I think Amazon's doing it. It's a whole ass TV show.
Okay, good for them. Because like, I forgot how much I enjoyed Interview with the Vampire. How like the story doesn't make sense really, but it's just fun.
It's literally Christian Slater sits down with Brad Pitt and interviews him about being a vampire.
Right. It's so emo. It's so over the fucking top. Everybody was having fun in this shit. Every motherfucker you could tell was just like, I'm here for this. Let's do it.
Okay, so there's 13 books. Interview with the Vampire is the first book. Because I remember the first 3 or the first 4 books being very good, and then getting to the 5th book and being like, I'm done. It's Interview with the Vampire, The Vampire Lestat, which is where he becomes the rock star. He becomes a world famous rock star.
Right.
Queen of the Damned, Tale of the Body Thief, Monarch the Vampire, and the sixth and last book I'll mention is The Vampire Armand. And Armand is in Interview with the Vampire. He's played by Antonio Banderas.
So. Right. Yeah, like I'm here for a reboot of this, honestly. I wouldn't mind. Like let's do it.
I mean, that's the book though. Like they have a relationship in the books, and they cut it out because like that was the 90s, baby. You couldn't do that shit in the 90s.
That's right. Yeah, but let's lead into like the gay, like into the the bisexual overtones in this shit, like because that's the most fun part of this fucking movie is like watching like Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise almost kiss like 15 times. It's like, all right, they're gonna do it. They gotta do it. No, they're not gonna do it. They gotta do it. They should do it.
Well, did you know there is a series that Anne Rice wrote called Lives of the Mayfair Witches, which crosses over with the Vampire Chronicles?
I had no idea. Like what's just all right.
Man.
So I mean, let's get an adult. Let's fuck the Twilight shit. Let's get a real adult oriented franchise about vampires.
I'm sorry, this is coming on AMC, so it's going to lack the bite that it needs to have.
But AMC or AMC Plus, because they can get away with shit on AMC
regular
Plus.
AMC.
And
AMC's doing
and honestly,
Vampire Chronicles and the Mayfair Witches, so they're doing both.
Right, and AMC after Breaking Bad, they kind of bolded up. They might be able to push this a little deeper.
We'll see.
We will see. Yeah, I mean that's all I really want to talk about. I mean, I rewatched Alpha Dog. If you haven't seen that, it's the true story of Hollywood Jesse James and how he fucking tried to ransom off a kid to pay off a drug deal and ended up murdering the kid. It's peak Anton Yelchin. It's got all your early 2000 stars. Justin Timberlake kills it in it. Honestly, everyone kind of kills it in Alpha Dog, and to me, it's one of those classics that no one talks about. It's like a flashier version of Bully. So if you get a chance, watch Alpha Dog. Yeah, I think that's it. That's all I want to talk about for now. What have you been watching?
I binged all of Cobra Kai season 4, and it is the best season ever. I'm glad it got renewed for season 5. Season 5 is going to be fucking wild. It managed to redeem the Karate Kid 3. Yeah, because Karate Kid 3 is one of the biggest pieces of shit ever. Ralph Macchio said in an interview, he's like, I hate Karate Kid 3. I still hate it, but I'm very proud of Cobra Kai season 4.
All right. So if those of you don't know, Karate Kid 3, that's when Ralph Macchio becomes evil. Cop becomes a Cobra Kai. So it redeems that, huh?
Yeah, because they bring back Silver. And,
okay.
You'll see.
All right.
If you haven't, if you're familiar, if you like Karate Kid 1 and Karate Kid 2, those movies are awesome. Karate Kid 3, not so awesome. It sucks. But if you've seen the original Karate Kid movies and haven't seen Cobra Kai, go on Netflix right now. Binge all 4 seasons. It's not a waste of time. I know I was kind of skeptical too. I'm like, this looks cheesy, this looks dumb, but man, it's great character work. The fights are better than all the fights in Shang-Chi. Yeah. Cobra Kai season 4.
But that's the point. But that's the point of this show. It's supposed to be cheesy.
But it's cheesy.
It's supposed to be
have great
like
character work. The characters have pathos. Like it's a series of misunderstandings that escalate, and eventually, like the character drama that comes out of it is so well written that you're just like, they're doing this in this show.
Right. Like a show that it started off on what was it, YouTube Red? Yeah. So thank God for I won't say this often, but thank God for Netflix for rescuing this shit. Because I would have never watched this on YouTube Red. I think YouTube Red is dumb. It's a dumb idea.
Plus or YouTube or whatever the fuck it's called, and YouTube just dropped it. And then Netflix was like, well, right, we'll take it.
Right. But God bless Netflix for rescuing this shit because it is good. It's a fun time, and I'm gonna binge seasons 3 and 4, and that's going to be on this list for this week, and we can get a deep dive into it next week.
I want to give our listeners a warning here. Season 1 is very good, but I want to make this clear. Each season tops itself, believe it or not. Like season 2 is better than season 1. Season 3 is better than season 2. Season 4 better than season 3. Like this show keeps one-upping itself season by season.
Oh my God, a show that gets better per season? How is that even possible? Yeah. Oh yeah, people care about it. The showrunners care about it. That's how that happens. Not that I'm saying,
Cobra Kai. On HBO Max, the day after Christmas, I watched 8-Bit Christmas, and that is a piece of shit. And I'll just leave it as that. It's a piece of shit.
I had no interest in seeing that from the trailers, from anything like that. God bless you for watching it.
The day after Christmas was the final episode of Insecure, and then the season finale of Curb Your Enthusiasm. Solid season of Curb. I would take a mediocre season of Curb than no Curb at all. I'll say that. And Insecure.
Fair.
I ain't know how this show was going to end. I ain't know where the road was going to lead. Did they stick the landing? Yes, absolutely. I think this is one of the greatest shows of all time. It is a love story first and foremost. It's a love story between Issa and Lawrence, but also a love story between Issa and Molly. I've never thought a show like this could exist where it just shows struggling middle-class black women in their 30s just trying to do their best, but they fuck up, and you get mad that they fuck up because their fuck-ups are just easy fixes, but then you understand why. They show you why they fuck up, and it all comes from character. I can't say enough. Issa Rae, our baby girl, you did it. This is one of the best shows HBO has ever had. So Insecure, go back and watch the entire run. Like at the end of this show, I was just like, damn, I gotta get my shit together too. If Issa can make it, I can make it.
What's Issa? Do we know what she's got next on the docket?
I'm thinking she's taking some time off because she got married secretly before the show premiered. Yeah.
Oh, word. All right, good for her. Congratulations, Issa.
I will get into a Hulu movie I watched the day after Christmas called Mother Android, starring Chloe Grace Moretz and the black dude from Euphoria.
Okay, so that showed up and it looked interesting to me. I just didn't get a chance to watch it.
Very good premise, falls apart in the third act.
Well, I mean, the first 2 acts, though, right? Yeah, how was it?
It was solid. It was a solid, low-budget Hulu sci-fi movie. And then you get to the third act, and you're just like, yeah.
All right, but does the third act ruin the rest of the movie? Because I've watched plenty of movies where the third act made me hate all the goodwill that the first parts
yes
of the movie
and no,
did.
because I ain't like the movie, but then at the same time, I'm just like, it is what it is.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so I mean, Mother Android, it's streaming on Hulu. Rewatched Armageddon on Christmas Day. I rewatched two 90s movies. We'll talk about 90s so fucked up. We'll start with Armageddon. Armageddon is Cocaine, the movie. The movie starts off with New York being destroyed. And the way Michael Bay blows up New York City is literally the third act of a normal fucking movie. And this happens in the first 10 minutes. Like, he decimates Manhattan. And I mean decimates. It is ruined. It gets crazier from there. They have fucking what's my man's name? Steve Buscemi losing his mind in space. Like, he's so crazy that he starts playing with a fucking remote controlled minigun and starts fucking shit up. And my question is,
but the fact they have
yes, that's what was my question. I was like, why you guys have a fucking minigun in space? And there's no answer for that.
Because fucking Michael Bay.
There's no answer for that.
Because Michael Bay, right? Yeah, the answer is Michael fucking Bay.
Like, the movie's just fucking insane.
I love that fucking.
I have the Criterion DVD. Criterion maybe put this out in Blu-ray and 4K Blu-ray. This is big 90s cocaine energy just because you have Ben Affleck shoving animal crackers in Liv Tyler's pussy while her father, Steven Tyler, is singing over the soundtrack. I don't want to close my eyes. I don't want to fall asleep because I miss you, baby. And I don't want to miss a thing. I was just like, so she's having animal crackers shoved up her pussy. And this is supposed to be romantic while her dad is singing.
I never made that connection. I never made that connection until just now. This movie's amazing.
I can imagine, and this was one of the screenwriters on this was JJ, so I can only imagine JJ sitting there like, yeah, I love crusty vagina. Shove them animal crackers up in there, get it dry, nice, dry, and crusty. Yeah. Oh, what can we do? Oh yeah, let's have her dad sing the theme song as she's having fucking animal crackers shoved in her pussy. Yeah.
Yo, I need a cigarette after that laugh. Oh fuck, I never made that connection.
Until just it's now. Fucked up, right? It's fucked up.
20 years later, Brandon Norwood has made my love for Armageddon even stronger.
For those of you who've never seen Armageddon, I want to give you a fair warning. Don't think about it, because if you think about it, you're going to come back and hit us up on social and be like, this movie's stupid. It makes no fucking sense. All this shit is sexist. It's racist. I'm like, yes, I know. It's Michael Bay. You should expect that by now.
But also it's fun as fuck.
I also had to stop it because I was enjoying my Christmas Day and I was so fucking lit that the movie made me dizzy. That I had to stop it because a shot in this, the camera's always moving and no shot in this movie lasts longer than 3 seconds. So I had to stop it, drink some water to sober up a bit, and then start it.
I think I may be making this fact up, but I think if this movie has more cuts per minute than any other movie in the history of cinema. I probably just made that up, but that sounds like a real fact.
It's like Ambulance. Like, I went to go see Eternals with my brother, and I was retarded, dog. I was in outer space. Watching that trailer made me fucking physically sick because the camera, more than any Michael Bay movie, the camera in this trailer is just whooping and swooping and just weaving in and out of shit, and it is cutting so fast where I was just like, bro, I'm going to be sick because this shit is just, it is the Michael Bay style is the definition of ADD cinema.
Right. You don't hire Michael Bay for your Merchant Ivory period piece. You hire Michael Bay to blow shit up and to give you seizures from all the lights and the movements. Like as much as I talk shit on or we talk shit on Zack Snyder, Michael Bay, I love you, dog. You're not a good storyteller, but I enjoy even your worst movies
thing.
are enjoyable.
Michael Bay don't take himself seriously. Michael Bay knows exactly what he is.
Right, he knows
Michael
who he
Bay
is.
doesn't overreach his hand and try to be profound. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Even his Benghazi film, like that's the most serious he's tried to get in a while. And even his Benghazi film was like, the camera's moving every fucking which way.
His Benghazi movie is literally Call of Duty made into a movie.
Yeah, and I'm here for it.
I'm not. Fuck that movie. Fuck the politics of that movie. But I will say, my Michael Bay is Martin Scorsese, because Martin Scorsese has a frenetic, kinetic style like Michael Bay does. Like even he made a Merchant Ivory movie called The Age of Innocence, and even that has his frantic camera work and hyper editing. Martin Scorsese's my speed.
Right, but like but Scorsese knows when to let the camera just sit there and let the acting do the work. Michael Bay doesn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, I gotta rewatch Pain and Gain now.
Yeah, I mean, I rewatched it a couple of months ago, and you know what? Fucking, I forget that Anthony Mackie was in every movie in the early 2000s. I was like, he said he was fucking.
So
in everything.
That is Armageddon. I guess that's gonna be part of my new AKAs next week. Mr. Krusty. Mr. Krusty. I like Krusty, it dry. I like it crusty.
Well, there you go. I gotta come up with some new AKAs. All right, go. All right. So, what else did you say? What else did you watch on Hulu?
Well, no. A few days later, I checked to see if my press credentials still worked, and they did. Because screeners are timed, and this is the only one I tried it with because I did want to check it out. House of Gucci, and my House of Gucci screener still worked. Ridley, dog, what are you doing? What are you doing, dog? This is 2.5 hours, and it is dry. It is boring. Everybody seems to be in a different movie. Like Al Pacino's in a different movie from Lady Gaga. Adam Driver's in a different movie from Al Pacino. It is Jared Leto's in a different movie from Lady Gaga. It is insane. And I mean that it is just sad to hear. So boring, so over the top. Like, I feel like this should have been a Scorsese film, because Scorsese knows exactly how to handle material like this.
Oh man, that's sad to hear, because I was looking forward to that movie because of the soap opera aesthetic, because like I wanted an Italian soap opera, like big energy, big cocaine hair energy.
After that I watched right on before New Year's, I watched Paranormal Activity: Next of Kin.
That's been like literally sitting right here staring at me for like the last 2 months, and I can't bring myself to watch it.
It has nothing to do with the rest of the series. Like it's about some girl who discovers her roots, and they make a documentary about her, and she ends up being Amish, and then the Amish that she's related to is part of a cult that worships a demon, and that's it.
Is it like, all right, so they just use the IP, just sort of like what they did with the Cloverfield paradox. They just slap Cloverfield on it to loop it in to the series, but it really has nothing to do with anything.
And it's done by the dude who did The Signal and Underwater. The Signal I really liked, and I thought The Signal was going to be the first in a franchise, and I thought it showed the promise of a very young filmmaker who had more to deliver, and Underwater was just like, eh. And I know people love it because of the reveal at the end, and even the reveal, I'm like, that's why y'all love it, because of that.
What I can't remember what Underwater. There was a reveal. I can't see this how much I care about this movie. I don't. It was fine.
Alert. the reveal is the monster is Cthulhu. And I was just like, okay, cool.
Oh. Yeah, okay. I mean, I didn't realize that was the reveal.
Cthulhu. Where I was just like, guys, we could just make a straight Cthulhu movie and it'd probably be much better than this bullshit.
And look, I fuck with deep sea underwater adventure movies like Leviathan, Deep Star 6. I love that, fucking big 80s, 90s cheesy underwater shit. And this was fine. This was fine. My problem with all Kristen Stewart movies.
No, I think
Kristen
she's
Stewart.
a good actress. She just needs better movies. Like Spencer, she was Oscar worthy, and I hope she gets a nomination. But the movie itself, okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, I know she has the potential, but in every movie I've seen her in, no one is utilizing that potential. It's like she's not in the same movie as everyone else.
William Eubank, man, I don't know, man. You had a promising career, and now you made 2 movies since where I'm just like, bro, I think you're done, dog. So we'll move on from that. Yesterday, me and my brother watched another Paramount Plus movie that was originally supposed to go to theaters. It was called Rumble. It's an animated movie about kaiju who wrestle each other. And we train the kaiju. Humans train the kaiju. And we've been doing this since the primitive ages. And it has a nice little theme about capitalism and resilience and family. And I was just like, it's a kid's movie first and foremost. So like, if you watch this expecting to get something out of it, it's just entertaining. It's fun to watch. It's made for children. It's cool because they build a world and all this type of shit. But Paramount, what the fuck are you doing? This is one you should have put out in theaters. This could have been a franchise. Y'all could have made like a whole ass movie series out of this. And instead, you throw it on Paramount Plus. What the fuck are y'all doing? Tomorrow War, you put out in theaters. Rumble, you put out in theaters. Snake Eyes, you put on Paramount Plus. Get your shit together.
No, Snake Eyes, you don't even make. You don't even. That money could have been made to do anything else. Like have 3-ply toilet paper. That's the money. Like just spend that money instead of.
It still blows my mind that movie cost $80 million. Like we've seen movies that have a bigger scale, much more going on, better fights, just all around bigger, made for cheaper. Like how the fuck did that cost $80 million?
Well, how much did they have to peel off to Hasbro for that IP? That's probably where a lot of that money went.
Christ. All right. So I watched Commando for the first time, not this past Sunday, but the previous Sunday, and I fucking love that movie.
Yo, Sully, remember when I said I would kill you last?
This is what I want from my 80s movie. Like no plot, just fucking cartoonish, outlandish violence. Fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger's basically a superhero because he's getting shot and keep going and ripping off fucking sides of buildings, walking insides of buildings. Like this motherfucker, it is basically a superhero movie before we got superheroes. Like I fucking love this movie. And you know what's awesome? It's a fucking hour and a half. It knows exactly how long it should be. It's an hour and a half. It gets you in, you're out, you're done.
Yeah. Like a funny story. Commando was one of my mother's favorite movies. Like, just like, there's nothing else going on in the house. Hey, you want to watch Commando? Fuck yeah, let's do it.
And if anybody says this movie sucks, I don't trust you.
Come for me. Come for us. If you don't like Commando, come for us.
Do not take this shit. You know how you do it is? Don't take it seriously. It is a comedy. It is a action-packed comedy. That's how you watch the motherfucker. I'll get into The Power of the Dog, which won the Golden Globe for Best Picture Drama. Yes, it's Jane.
That's on Netflix, right?
Jane Champion's new movie. It's her first movie in like 12 or 17 years because she's been doing Top of the Lake season 1 and 2. Because she made The Piano, and I think The Piano is a very good movie, like all around good. This, right. I was just like, all right, I guess, like, and then it didn't coalesce. I mean, it's beautifully shot. Like this has some of the best cinematography of last year. it didn't coalesce for me until we got to the very end, where it reveals itself at the end, where you're just like, oh, this little nigga, it was him the whole time. He was playing the long game. I was just like, yo. And then the more I thought about it from beginning to end, I was just like, yo, now I see why people love it, because just the end of it is what makes the movie. And just watch it on Netflix. I know you guys are probably going to sit there like I was, like, yo, what is the point when we're going to get to it? And then you get to the end and you're just like, holy fucking shit.
I love this. I love an intelligent movie. I love a movie that just kind of like, it brings you along all the way, and then at the end it all connects, and it makes the last 2 hours worth it.
It's 2 hours and 10 minutes. Shit. Give it a try. It's on Netflix. It is one of the best movies Netflix put out in a long time, just because it looks like a movie. It feels like a movie. It has the scope of what I would like to see in a theater. Like, if I saw this in a theater, I probably would have been mesmerized, because it is a epic Western about toxic masculinity and how that kind of just backfires. So, Power of the Dog, recommended. Is it the best movie of last year? No, absolutely not. But give it a watch. And then real quick, I will say, I want to go through some 4K Blu-rays that I want to recommend. Suicide Squad. They keep the IMAX aspect ratio for the 4K Blu-ray. Get it. The picture and sound are incredible. Godzilla vs. Kong. Get it. The sound and picture are incredible. Lord of Rings, The Two Towers. Get it. Sound and picture, incredible. Criterion's Uncut Gems. The picture is incredible. And the mixing for surround, like how they mixed it for home theaters, is crazy. And finally, I will get to the best. And I see why this 4K Blu-ray is hard to get, and why everybody and their mom's been buying it and been trying to get it. Dune. The Dune 4K dropped. This is one of the best home releases ever. Like, the HDR contrast on the film is just chef's kiss amazing. It is just, and the sound design is even better. It is crazy. Like, if you have a home theater setup, get it. If you have a sound bar, get it. Like, this is what you get a 4K TV and a 4K Blu-ray player for. Like, the Dune 4K Blu-ray. This is, studios, take note. What Warner Brothers did with this is next level. My only complaint is it doesn't have the IMAX aspect ratio. So hopefully when part 2 comes home, they could do like a double package feature limited edition where it has the IMAX aspect ratio for home theaters. But yeah, if you have a 4K TV and a 4K Blu-ray player, get Dune, and then do yourself a favor. Get yourself a home theater system or a sound bar that could do Dolby Atmos. Get it, because this shit is reference quality. When you're trying to sell your friends on getting a home 4K TV and like a home and a sound bar, you throw in Dune and they will go out and cop a 4K TV.
All right, there you go. They fucked up on the initial release of Dune, so they at least had to get the Blu-ray 4K.
There's people who watched it on HBO Max and bought the 4K Blu-ray, and they're just like, this is light years ahead of what they had streaming on HBO Max. Holy shit. And then there's people who didn't see it in theaters at all, and it was just word of mouth, where their friends saw it in theaters and they just never got the chance, or their friends copped the 4K Blu-ray and they're just like, yo, you got to see this. Everybody who's bought the 4K Blu-ray has just been blown away, because it is that good. I understand why it's sold out, because apparently the word of mouth, not only on just the movie being good, but this 4K Blu-ray being like literally the 4K Blu-ray, it's made it impossible to get. Like, I know Best Buy has a hard time keeping it in stock. Amazon was sold out for an entire day before they restocked. Yeah, so like, Dune alone is worth getting a 4K setup. Like, Denis Villeneuve's movies in 4K, I haven't been disappointed with. Like, Sicario looks amazing. Arrival looks and sounds amazing. Blade Runner 2049, that was my one that I would use as a reference disc to sell my friends on getting a 4K setup. Now it's Dune. Like, my only thing is put Prisoners out in 4K. Like, do a 4K remaster with the HDR. Do it for every HDR. Do it for HDR10. Do it for HDR10 Plus. Do it for Dolby Vision. Because Denny's movies seem like the only movies in 4K that you need, because these shits look and sound incredible. Yo, man, a master filmmaker keeps one upping himself, man.
Well, this is what happens when people care.
Yeah, because they put Pirates of the Caribbean out in 4K for the first time on 4K Blu-ray, and my friend let me borrow his 4K Blu-ray. He's just like, Brandon, if you can find the regular Blu-ray, buy it. And I see why, because Disney does not give a fuck. They want you to buy Disney Plus. They do not want you to buy the physical disc. That it is shameful what they did for that 4K Blu-ray.
It's amazing how the studios were so apprehensive to get into the streaming game, right? Like, and now they've gone all in on streaming, and they're forgetting that there is still people out there who want physical media.
Because this Dune release has been pretty fucked ever since it dropped, man, because there was a limited edition steelbook that release was just all around a mess. Like, the steelbooks were either fucked up or were missing disc. Some people are getting it 2 weeks after the movie dropped on 4K. Like, it's crazy. I was just like, you guys were severely unprepared for this home video release. And Disney, from what I understand, I have Black Widow on 4K Blu-ray, and it is better on Disney Plus, which is shameful, because Disney Plus, while the 4K streaming is good, it's not great. Like, it could be better.
Right. It's still streaming.
Yeah, because...
Right, it's still streaming.
I'll say real quick. I'll say this: after watching my brother's. I had to buy the set after Trey let me borrow his Fellowship of the Ring 4K Blu-ray. I streamed it in 4K, and the difference is night and day between 4K streaming and 4K disc. I'll tell you that right now, because watching the two as close as I did together, I was just like, no, it's night and day. Yeah.
Right, it's not hitting. It's not hitting.
That's all I got. The only other thing that I watched, we got to save for next week, and will be our main review next week. Oh, wait a minute. Right. One last thing is on HBO Max. I forgot two things. Still watching Just Like That. The Sex and the City continuation.
Oh yeah, I couldn't get past the third episode.
I'm gonna finish this season, and then I'm out. I'm fucking out. Like, this show is just bad. Stanford, who is Carrie's best friend, and he's gay. He got married. Remember, he got married to the other dude on the show. He died in real life.
Didn't he die in real life?
The way they write him off the show is so disrespectful. You're just like, come on, guys, really?
Word.
How did they do it? And goes to Tokyo to work for a very famous TikToker in Tokyo. He leaves without saying goodbye to Carrie, and he leaves a note for Mario Cantone's character saying that he wants a divorce. Yeah, and suddenly Mario Cantone's character is like best friends with Carrie, and I'm just like, what?
Wait, so like, is the season done, or they still have a couple more episodes?
3 or 4 more episodes.
Maybe they can redeem that. They can't, in the next
he's dead.
Couple of episodes, because that is right. No, but like they can do a coda or something like that, or him writing a letter.
Is what they did to Samantha. Like, the way they wrote Samantha off the show, I was like, yo, y'all might as well have just killed her. Yeah, this show fucking sucks. God. It's I guess Sex and the City 2 was a precursor to this shit. I'm done. So if they get another season, right, I'm done. I'm not watching it. Like, I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I couldn't get past the third episode because these people are
only way
horrible.
I could watch another season of this is if what's her face? Kim Cattrall comes back as Samantha, and I'd imagine we'd all die of COVID before that happens. So that, and then the only other thing I want to talk about on HBO Max is Halsey put out a accompanying short film along with her album last year for If I Can't Have Love, I Want Power.
I saw bits and pieces of that.
It's like an experimental short film. It is what it is. I like the album a lot. This video, I think this is strictly for her fans. Like, it's shot entirely in IMAX because it has the IMAX aspect ratio. It is what it is. Like, I love the album, but this short film I could take.
Yeah, I got to listen to the album a couple of more times because it's not what I expected. You know, like it's you know, this album was produced by Trent Reznor, and Trent Reznor, to me, in my estimation, is one of the greatest artists that's ever walked the earth. And you know, when he gets his hands on someone else, magic happens. And Halsey's voice and her sound is fantastic. And so when they got together, I was so excited for what they were going to create together. And to me, it didn't meld. It, like, the sound, the music's good, but it didn't feel like they influenced each other. It seemed like they kind of like, all right, well, we're going to shoe this, you know, Trent Reznor sound into this Halsey song, or we're going to shoehorn Halsey into this Trent Reznor soundscape. It didn't seem like a hybrid to me. But maybe I gotta listen to it a couple more times.
It is a Nine Inch Nails album just done by Halsey, and I'm not mad at it. I like it a lot. So, I mean, yeah, that's it. So, right. I guess let's get into our main review.
All right.
And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the Film Blerds feature film review.
All right, our main review. I would like to start off with this one. Fuck this movie. Fuck the catering. Fuck the transpo. Fuck whoever cleaned the bathrooms. I absolutely hated this movie.
They literally did, like, when this movie was first announced, I was like, they did this with Scream 4. And going to see it on Saturday, I was just like, and walking out of it, I was like, this was just Scream 4. Like, it was Scream 4 done over again.
A Scream 4 with text messaging.
It's literally like the whole passing the torch with a new generation coming in and taking over the franchise. That was done in Scream 4.
Right. I mean, this is like this. To me, this seemed like a big budget remake of Ghost Dad. And once you see the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's the Dunning-Kruger effect of fucking movies. It thinks it's smarter than it actually is. You know?
I like the new characters a lot. I would love to stay with the new characters more, just not in this franchise. Like, I'm tired of Scream. This whole meta commentary thing, I think everybody's done it since then across various genres that is just played out now.
Right, but the meta commentary though was lazy. You know, like, especially since we saw how good meta commentary can be in the Matrix, in the last Matrix film, and this just, it didn't play into that. Like, the first Scream I loved. It's one of my favorite.
Right, Scream 1's awesome. Scream 2 is awesome.
Right, and like the meta, like, there was actual commentary on horror and genre and stuff like that in that movie. This one, like, when we first start off and we have the what's the chick's name? Who I can't remember. With the
we'll call her Little Latina because I can't remember her name either.
Yeah, Little Latina. When Little Latina is talking about how, like, she's into horror movies, but more cerebral horror movies. Okay.
Hereditary.
Right. When she started rattling those off, I was like, oh, okay, so we're gonna make a commentary on, like, is the whole entire movie gonna be a commentary on this new cerebral horror that we've gotten lately? It's like, okay, I'm here for that. Nope. Nope.
I like, the only thing I could say they did right here is, if you're before the opening title card, you die. And the thing they do here is she doesn't die. I think that's the only cool thing.
Right, because she's because she actually plays a big part in the story. I loved Old Man Wolverine Dewey.
They did him dirty though. That was stupid. I was just like, come on, and
Fuck.
Dewey's smarter than that.
They did. Right, but Dewey was my favorite fucking character in this movie, and they did him real dirty. And then when you do the reveal of who Ghostface is in this, right? I was like, there is no way she could.
And
have
it's so
pulled off
obvious
what she
because
pulled off
this
in the hospital.
actress is constantly playing assholes and other things. Like, she's an asshole daughter. I stopped watching it after the first season, but Better Things. She was the asshole daughter in Better Things. She was one of the psychopaths in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So it's just like, yeah, of course. Could have seen that coming a mile away. And then the second killer, it's just like, yeah, come on, y'all played into that.
Oh yeah, Dewey has the best line. Dewey's the audience, and he has the best line in the movie, and it sort of reaffirms my thinking on it. He says, "I'm regretting coming here," and that's what I felt like when I sat down for this. Right. So when Judy's in the kitchen, right, and she hears the noise, and she grabs the knife, right? Yeah. Bitch, you're a cop. Why didn't you if you are afraid that Ghostface is in your house, grab your goddamn gun.
They regress. Judy was introduced in Scream 4, and she was pretty competent in Scream 4. And this one, she just seemed fucking stupid.
And when when all the old characters show up and the finale, none of the jokes hit, none of the. And
this felt like a studio cashing in, and they did. They cashed out because this is now going to make more money than Scream 4, believe it or not.
Yeah, because it is what it is. Like, my whole entire thing is Scream was actually smart. Scream 2,
which is a miracle because they made Scream 2 in less than a year after the first one.
Right. And like this whole entire commentary on toxic fan base and shit like that, it was too little too late. Like there's because the first Scream movie was about toxic fandom. I can say
at least this is better than Scream 3. Like, Scream 3 is a true piece of shit through and through. This is at least better than Scream 3. Like, I would way I'd rank them would be probably Scream 1, Scream 2, probably Scream 4, then this one, and then 3.
Right. Wasn't there a Scream TV show?
That was on MTV.
Yeah. Who gives a fuck? This was bad. This was like in no way, shape, or form good. If you're a fan of the Scream series, I'm sorry for you that they gave you this. It's. I mean, I can get microscopic.
But why bother? There's really nothing to pick apart. There's nothing to really analyze about this. I know there's a lot of critics who love this, and I'm just like, I don't know what you guys love about this. This is literally Scream 4, just updated 10 years later.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And I didn't even see Scream 4. I'll be honest. I stopped after 3 because 3 was so horrible.
Scream 4 is heads and shoulders above this, but it's not as good as Scream 1 and 2.
Right. and like the whole entire everything was overacted. Like not little Latina, but big Latina.
Which is
She
sad because she gave a
overacted the
great
fuck out of
performance
it.
in The Heights.
Well, it's you now you can say you can tell that some people it really is the director
And there's two
sometimes
dudes
that
who
brings out the
directed
great
this.
performances. Yeah, and like I'm not
I don't even know
a
what they
huge
did. This is
fan
like
of
their first
work,
movie I've ever
but
seen.
like
Nor do I care.
well they like they're from that Austin horror movie crowd, like the Ready or Not,
Oh, they did
Southbound,
Ready or
VHS,
Not?
those guys, like they're part of that crew.
That was actually good.
Yeah. Well,
How the fuck? Wait, those guys made this?
Right? Like,
are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah. I like when I looked them up today, and I was like, all right, what have these motherfuckers done before? And even though I did not, Southbound was hit or miss. Ready or Not was fucking amazing. Like that's how like when Adam Weingold,
Wingard?
the guy, Wingard, when Adam Wingard came out with You're Next, and you could tell that he was like the next dude, right? Ready or Not felt like that for these guys.
They're known as Radio Silence, but they're accredited by their real names here. You know what? I got nothing else to say. Fuck it. I just got nothing else to say. I got nothing else. I don't give a fuck.
All right. Got nothing else to say. Yeah.
It's January. It's an above average January.
And shout out
movie,
to the Red Box this shit. Don't go out to a theater and risk in the Omarion.
The fucking thing was a
variant.
hit, man. That's what's more disappointing. This shit was a hit. It was a bigger hit than Scream 4.
Because the IP people love and people are bored and there's nothing else.
That's true because you could only see Spider-Man so many times.
That's right. There's nothing else. So this is a perfect storm of like if you had dropped this against anything else, it would have gotten his lunch eaten. And in a regular like non-apocalypse winter sort of time frame. If this had dropped in like April or May, it was nothing. Like it would have it would have made his budget.
The next movie coming out that I'm looking forward to ain't till February, and we still got 2 weeks left in fucking January.
So
Moonfall.
Oh yeah, I did see the trailer for that in front of this. Yo, that looks so dumb.
I'm gonna say this, and I promise you to our listening audience, it's not gonna be a good movie, but it's going to be an entertaining one.
Right, it's gonna be fucking. It looks fun as fuck. Like Halle Berry fighting the moon. Mic drop.
Real quick,
that's a mic drop right there.
Now that I got you, might as well do this on air. What are you doing Saturday, February 5th? Because Moonfall comes out that weekend, and then Jackass comes out, and I want to do a double feature because I'm not driving to the theater.
Yeah, because he's going to be, as to quote Brandon, he's going to be Smack City. So yes, I will be your DD. I will make sure you get to the theater safe and sound and get home. I will not partake in the marijuanas, but I will have a few cocktails.
Of course, we're going to go to Neshaminy, you know what I mean, where they got the bar. So which one's going to be first?
I want Moonfall first, just because I'm going to have to actually think a little bit on this one, right? But Jack, like, I'm going to have to think a little bit. Like, I got to be able to analyze and shit like that. Jackass, I mean, is dudes getting hit in the nuts. There's not much to die. Like, there's not much to really to analyze or to think about or process. It's like, so let's
so Moonfall we're gonna do nice in IMAX, because how could you not see that in IMAX?
Right, yeah, you got to see that as big and as beautiful as possible. You don't understand. Moonfall is probably going to be one of my favorite movies of this year of 2022. Not because it's good, just because it is like, I'm going to turn my brain off and let let cinema happen to me.
And Jeff,
cinema take
if
me.
it does get a release in Dolby Cinema, are we doing Jackass in Dolby Cinema, or are we doing that regularly? I'm gonna bring a barf bag. I used to love Jackass, but I've grown as I get older. The more squeamish I get.
Yeah, it's the poop stuff for me. I can't deal with poop stuff.
Almost everything about it makes me squeamish. Like I'm just not a kid anymore. You know what I mean? Like, come on. I see people shooting up dog food on my way to work.
Back when I was younger, physical violence, like this physical pain was hilarious. Now emotional pain is my new jam. So yeah, like if Johnny Knoxville gets hit in the nuts, but also someone comes up and whispers in his ear, "You've wasted your whole entire life," as he's rolling around on the ground in pain, I think that would do it for me.
Next week, guys, for episode 34, we got one last January movie because, like we said at the beginning of this, everything we were going to review has been delayed to either March or April. So there was one big movie released at the beginning of the month, and you can take a guess as to what it is that we're going to be reviewing next week. And I cannot wait to talk about this shit.
All right. Yo, before we go, we are closing in on episode 50. I want to give a shout out to our other 50th brother, Tim and Rich Unleashed. They just had their 50th episode. Shout out to them. But we are coming up on our 50th sooner than we would like because it's coming up fast. We want you to write in on all our social media. Send us an email. Do whatever. Let us know what your favorite skits or favorite things we've done are. So we can do a highlight.
I would also like to say, give us a follow on Twitter. Get us to at least 400 followers. Like, give us a follow on Twitter, and we'll start doing shit for you.
We have a lot of shit to give away. All right, so like, follow us on Twitter. Let's get those
also,
Twitter
we want to
numbers
make the
up
show
so we
better.
Can start giving you
and
this
our
free
show,
shit.
as far as social media is concerned, they still measure it by Twitter, not by Instagram. So follow us on Twitter. Also, rate and review us on everything. 5 fucking stars.
Yep. If you love this sweet cinema review and tomfoolery that we're giving you, you got to give a little love back.
Wait a minute, baby. Jeff.
All right.
One last thing before we go, because I forgot to finish off my 90s tomfoolery with Armageddon. On Christmas Day, I also watched,
what else?
Because I haven't seen it since I was a kid, Jingle All the Way.
Oh, wow. Okay. As an adult man, going back in time and watching Jingle All the Way, please.
It's an awful movie. Everybody in this is an awful person. I don't feel bad for fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger. Sinbad is a fucking terrorist in this movie, and every terroristic act he does in this is played for laughs. Like, this nigga's a mailman, and he pulls out a package out of his mail to get out of things. He'll pull out a package and be like, "I got a bomb. I got a fucking bomb, and I'll make the bomb go off if you don't let me go." Or he'll whip out a package and be like, "I got a bomb. I got a fucking bomb. If you don't give me that Turbo Man coupon, I'll set it off." And at one point, one of those ends up actually being a bomb. And it's played for laughs, bro. The 90s were crazy.
Jingle All the Way. The 90s were different,
Tell me how at the end of the fucking movie, this takes place in Milwaukee or some fucking city in the Midwest. The Turbo Man suit fucking works.
Right.
They don't even have that shit for the Macy's Day Parade in New York City. Like, it has a fully functional jetpack. I'll be like, yo, wouldn't they make that for the army? Shit shoots out fucking this. The boomerang works. I'm like, how the fuck does this shit have weapons, bro? Also, I like how the suit fits Arnold Schwarzenegger, because everybody in this movie looks like a schlubby, average dude. Arnold Schwarzenegger's the tallest cut dude in the city, and it fits him perfectly. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then it has a shitty post-credit scene where he's like,
he is Turbo Man.
Where Rita Wilson you did all that for our son. What'd you get for me? And then he looks into the camera like, "Oh no, I forgot my wife." I'm like, nigga, how'd you forget your wife?
Also, bitch, I almost died bringing our child happiness. Fucking, like you see these lights? These lights you like this heat in this house?
This movie is wild. Like, Phil Hartman tries to rape Rita Wilson, and Rita Wilson is Arnold's wife. Rita Wilson should be getting a divorce from Arnold Schwarzenegger for all the shit he pulls in this movie. and they end up together happy. Fucking
wait, I gotta rewatch this movie. This movie sounds horrible. I knew it was bad,
there's
but like,
a black
I can't
market
remember how
for Santa
horrible
Claus
it was.
where they make counterfeit toys that ends up in a Santa Claus fight club.
Fucking the 90s were different,
Yeah,
bro.
man. Yeah.
The 90s were goddamn different.
All right.
That explains a lot about all the shit we're going through now. The 90s was just different.
If you want a good
We're paying for it
illustration
now.
of the 90s,
We're paying for it
watch
now.
Armageddon and Jingle All the Way. And cap it off by watching Broken Arrow.
Yo, Broken Arrow.
Yo, they straight up stole Dewey's theme song from that movie.
Right, it's and then the Wilhelm scream is like they have like 18 Wilhelm screams in there. They got that same guitar, the same dusty guitar.
It is literally what John Woo thinks of American Western films. Like he made a Western, and it's called Broken Arrow.
Right. So, oh my God, fucking that was peak. That was peak everybody, man. Samantha Morton was in a fucking action film. Who was Samantha Morton in an action film? Fucking Howie Long.
Yeah, I forgot he was in that motherfucker.
Oh,
yo, my favorite
fucking
part of that
Long
movie
that
is when the dude hops out the truck. He's like, "Man, where is he? That son of a bitch. Maybe he died." And then you hear Travolta off screen go, "That's a terrible thing to say." And it cuts to him walking over the dune in slow motion with the music, down, 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 down.
Slow motion.
Yep.
With a cigar, with a cigar, down, 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 down. Yo, that's gonna be my theme song now on. For whenever I walk in a room,
it has that wild homoerotic shot of him
that.
after the fight over the opening credits where he's smoking the cigarette in the locker room, where it starts from his leg, goes to his crotch, all the way up to his chest till you see him smoking the cigarette with that music. That down, 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 down. Yeah, fuck you, Scream. You stole John Travolta's theme song from Broken Arrow.
So that has been episode 33 of the Film Blurs. Down, 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 down. Down, 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 down. Down, 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 down.
You've been listening to the Film Blurs podcast.
Man, I just love what you guys do, man.
I never miss an episode. It's the best.
It's my favorite podcast.
Follow Jeff on IG on MindFireXL and Brandon on Twitter at BJN Tweets.